was next to us. And this is the first time I really had seen this, which has brought me to really, really push the positive reinforcement training issue. With kids, I mean, to me, I don't have kids, so my dogs are my kids. And I know a lot of people in the equine world, most people have dogs as well. So we were there and we were looking around and people were walking around with their dogs. It was a really happy event. And I was watching this company. They're more of a, really it's a negative reinforcement training. They go in with fear tactics and pain situations to make the animal fear doing that particular thing again. And so basically what they do is they learn how to fear the owner. And I was watching this guy, and there was this little Sheltie, 35-pound Sheltie. We've all seen them running around. A very controllable dog. They're very smart, very easy to train if you pay attention. Well, people were walking by. The Sheltie kind of, which is normal for a dog, kind of started walking quickly towards another dog that was walking by, and his owner grabbed the dog, dropped him on his back, and it's called an alpha roll. Has anyone ever heard of an alpha roll? What it does, you take the dog and you almost break its spirit. You take it and throw it into this submissive position, like a lot of old school trainers really believe works. And then you hold them down on the ground for a period of time. And the look on their face is so pathetic. And he's holding this dog down, and I just lost my mind. And I ran over there, and he literally was arguing with me, and we went back and forth until I literally was almost in tears. And it took me to start reading a lot of information. And it is so interesting because Scott and I just rescued a golden retriever, and she came in, she was going to be dumped at the shelter, she was pregnant. Well, if she goes to the shelter, most of the shelters, or animal services, they don't have the budget to care for most of the animals that are in there, let alone a pregnant female. So they usually, unfortunately, euthanize the puppies and the mother, and it's a sad, sad situation. Same thing happens when a dog comes in that has been negatively trained in the past because they don't have the budget, they don't have the time. So it just perpetuates a constant negative environment. And it's the same thing in our lives when you look at children in facilities when they've been just in bad situations. They can grow older and make the choice to go in a different direction, but I don't think the dog really gets that choice. So the dog, she popped out 11 puppies, so it was a long whelping process. And we just adopted the last 2 out a week and a half ago. And what we noticed was when there was 2 brothers left, and they started packing up with each other. And they were bad. Oh, God. We were convinced that they were the Antichrist. But together they would look at each other, and I'm not a pack leader at all. My husband Scott is. I'm a big wimp when it comes to the little doe eyes. So I let them do whatever they want. When I sit on the couch, the dogs sit above me. They're all over. Even though that is being happy and la la la, it's not training them in any way. So it's not negative, it's not positive, it's just not good. So I looked at the pups, and I wanted to scold them because they would not stop jumping. And Scott would get annoyed and get down and do all that stuff. And what I realized was, in yelling at them, they were still getting attention. And a puppy or any creature that is like a sponge like that, whether good, bad, or indifferent, they were still getting the attention. So if they jumped and they got bad attention, fine. If they jumped and they got good attention, fine. And on the other side of that, you have to almost turn your back. So getting no attention to a child or a puppy is like the worst feeling on the planet. So in essence, by not getting any attention, they realize that there's no reward involved. So eventually they psychologically learn that that's not something they want to keep doing because they get nothing. If you turn around and smack them and not tell them what the proper thing is to do, now they're developing a fear mechanism. So they know if they jump on you and you smack them, eventually they stop jumping because they know they're going to get hurt. So there's the negativity again, and it just keeps going and going. And like with a child, I know with myself, there wasn't any physical abuse by any means, but my parents were very insecure, and the negative was always pulled out of everything. Not meaning to. So what I did as a teenager is I learned how to manipulate. I've seen the puppies do the same exact thing. When you get a negative vibe, you figure out how to get around it. Oh boy, did I get around it. My God, the stuff I tell